My entitled sister is using my nephew as a scapegoat for his sister, excluding just him from ever. First story, I put up with my cheating husband's absence, Dr. G addiction, sling, and false accusations of infidelity from my family who forced me to stay. But I finally lost it when he physically assaulted me and tried to kill my unborn baby. So, I got him arrested, cut ties with my family, and now live a happy life with my healthy baby, full of life. I can't use my main account for obvious reasons. My husband is out of work, he does odd jobs around town to bring in a few hundred a month. I am employed, but the job doesn't pay well. Saving money is hard. A few months ago, we had a BC failure, and now we are expecting. Saving money became an even bigger priority for me. My husband seemed to want to spend more because he said my pregnancy was causing him stress and activating his anxiety and depression, and partying helped. He says all of that will be over when the baby comes. My husband received a really generous job offer recently. He decided to use the money I had been saving, figuring he could replace it with the first several paychecks. He never contributed a penny to that savings fund. Husband claims that since we're married, it was our money, and he had every right to it. The job offer fell through. My husband then admitted he took my money. It took me months to scrape that together, and he blew it in 2 weeks. His friends have been telling me that I'm not allowed to be upset because we're married, so that money was marital property. I have also been told that my husband needed the money more than I did because it helped him cope, and I should just be glad he partied instead of getting worse. The husband said that he would not touch any future savings for the sake of the baby. It all came to a head last weekend when my husband ran out of cigarettes. I ended up scrounging together to buy his packs so he could make it until I got paid. My husband did not believe that I was broke. While I was at work on Monday, he went through our apartment to look for any money I may have hidden. He found $20 in a winter coat I had in storage that I had forgotten about. He also logged into my online banking and saw that I had money in my account, but that money was earmarked for a bill. He called my work twice to yell at me and then chewed me out when I got home. He told me that I was a liar and that I withheld something that he needed. I tried to explain that I had no clue that there was any money in my winter clothing and that the money in my bank account was for a bill. He didn't care. At least 2 of his friends have told me that I could have paid the bill a few days late if it meant supporting my husband while he's going through so much. This morning, my husband told me that since I am a liar and willing to hide things from him, he doesn't feel like he needs to pay back the money that he took until I stop being such an a-hole to him. I really wasn't lying. As far as I am concerned, bill money is non-negotiable. And for not telling him about the bill money. TLDR version, the husband wanted something to help him cope with all of the things he's going through. I told him that we were broke. I did have some money, but it was to pay a bill. My husband says admitting that money makes me a liar and in a hole. Relevant comments. Commenter, is your husband literally 8 years old? OP, he thinks I was punishing him because he had an affair when he first found out I was pregnant. I have been told by friends and family that a lot of guys stray when they first find out. I'm not happy, but that's not why I wouldn't let him have the money. I was just taught by my grandma that bills come before anything else. Commenter, NTA obviously. What the F is wrong with your husband? If money is so tight, how can he possibly justify even buying cigarettes? His friends are making this situation much worse, and he's probably blowing up his side of the story to them to make you seem like you're not giving him any money. Make him get a job and make him pay for his own mess. OP, I have been told that one of his friends is spreading the idea that the baby is not his, and I don't know if this guy came up with it on his own. The same guy is telling people that I am financially abusive towards my husband. It's not helping. More information on their relationship. He's from a southern background, and his family is very boys will be boys. My family is fundamentalist and thinks divorce is a sin. He is constantly telling our mutual friends that he would be lost without me and he doesn't know how he got so lucky to have someone who takes such good care of him. He told someone just yesterday that he would have died years ago without me. That's proof of what a wonderful mom I'll make. The only person in my circle who has been actively telling me to leave him is my best friend. She likes to point out how he is talking out of both sides of his mouth. He says she's just trying to start us. She wanted to start a GoFundMe for me to replace the money he took so I could leave. I told her it was his responsibility, not hers. The bank account, we share a phone, so he has access to my banking app. The account is in my name only. I changed the password once, but he said that was proof that I was lying and hiding things. Commenter, WTF, why are you still with him? Are you seriously bringing a child into this mess? Shame on you for obvious reasons and you for allowing his behavior by being a doormat. Please let my harsh words be the reality check you need to see that this relationship is not right. It's borderline toxic. OP, well, according to my mother, no one will ever love me but my family, and that's because they have to. I'm lucky I found anyone who can stand me at all. Abortion was considered, but I live in a state where that option is very hard to access. Comment the next day, is one of you a witch? Is there a curse or blessing that I was previously unaware of? My husband partied a little too hard and got himself arrested this morning. Due to his previous behavior, he's going to have to sit in jail for a few weeks while they sort things out. You've all given me things to think about, and the universe has given me time to mull them over. Update 4 years later, I made a post on this account 4 years ago when things were really bad in my life. Unbeknownst to me, my husband was addicted to DRGs. His friends, who were all on his side, were also doing DRGs with him. Here's my update on that situation. My now ex-husband was contemplating getting rid of us both. His getting arrested that weekend in 2020 saved my life. I've gone out of contact with my family. My best friend helped me get a new job. I met some people who helped me get a better job. My ex is still wallowing in the gutter, but at least he didn't take us with him. My daughter was born safe, happy, and loved. Life isn't perfect, but it's so much better than it used to be. Commenter, a few questions. Why did he get arrested? When do you say he was planning to get rid of you? You mean leaving you, right? Opus 1, I didn't want to admit this 4 years ago, but I'm okay to talk about it now. He came home high and drink and beat the daylights out of me. I'm lucky to be alive. I suffered a permanent injury, and he still only got a 6-month sentence. No, he wasn't planning on leaving me, he was planning on shuffling us off the mortal coil. Again, only 6 months for all of this. His probation officer called him one of the scariest people she had ever had to deal with. Second story. My entitled sister is using my nephew as a scapegoat for his sister, excluding just him from every family event, forcing him to work and pay for everything, and selling his money in favor of his sister. So I gifted him tickets for a football match on his birthday, which my sister sold again for his sister. I lost it and took him for dinner. Now she is blaming me for selling her son's family time. I'm angry but would like perspective. Throw away because family uses Reddit. I am unmarried and do not have children, so I don't understand this situation from a parent's standpoint. I have a niece, Kay, 21, and a nephew, Joe, 16. My sister and her husband have spent the last few years since the pandemic started trying to get Kay sorted. By that, I mean she has a lot of unexplained ailments. They've been seeing specialists, chiropractors, acupuncture, etc. To this day, I'm still not entirely sure what is wrong. Kay posts on social media a lot about feeling fatigued, having migraines, weakness, and other symptoms, along with her various appointments. Personally, I worry this is being driven by attention because it has become her entire personality. I try to help Kay when I can. I've taken her to a few appointments because she doesn't drive, but I've tried to be present mostly for Joe, who is overshadowed by all of this. Joe is a very simple young man and doesn't ask for much, but I can tell he wants some attention. He makes this known by pushing himself in sports, getting the best grades, getting a job, and trying to be as independent as possible. He's 16 but acts 20. It kind of stinks to watch. For his birthday, I bought 2 tickets to a football game and transferred them to my sister so that she or her husband could take him. I told them that if they absolutely couldn't, then I would, but they accepted the tickets. Fast forward a couple of weeks later, and I see a post from my sister selling 2 football game tickets, which were very quickly bought. I confronted her and said those tickets were for Joe. Her response was that they needed help covering new allergy testing for Kay and that's what the money would be used for. I took Joe to lunch yesterday and asked him how he was really doing. He was honest and said he doesn't feel like an equal member of his family, and I told him I see it too. I asked him why he agreed to sell his birthday tickets and learned he never did and never even knew anything about them. I told him the sequence of events. He was quiet for a bit, then sighed and accepted it. To my surprise, he must have said something to his parents because they called me for a conversation, accusing me of being in the wrong and saying I hurt Joe's feelings and that he was better off not knowing. I disagree wholeheartedly but am open to other perspectives. And yes, I am trying to buy new tickets for Joe. Relevant comments. Sherlock 27, NTA, you should have taken him. Hindsight is 2020. I agree. I told them specifically that it was for one of them to spend some damn time with him, and if they absolutely couldn't, then I would gladly, of course. But my hope was that they would take the free opportunity. Adds a couple of examples of case manipulation. The most recent I can think of was July 4th. We were having a cookout, and she said she was not feeling well and wanted to walk to the convenience store to buy Pepto or something. I can't remember, but she'd left her wallet at home. She asked me for $10, which I gave her. She asked Joe for $10 too, but he pointed out to her that I'd already given it to her. She said she forgot, though it hadn't even been 5 minutes. When she came back, she had a White Claw or something. I asked how she got it without her wallet, and she said she ended up finding her wallet but still used my $10 to buy medicine. I didn't raise the issue further, but it was one of the few that I haven't appreciated being involved in or hearing about. Their collective efforts to help Kay be comfortable and figure it out are what are leading to this and other issues for Joe. He spent his 15th birthday at home by himself all day because Kay made a slew of appointments for the same date, and even though it only takes one of them to drive her, they both insist on going to as many as they can together. That's why I wanted one of them to take him to the damn game. Unfortunately, the pattern I've seen emerge is that instead of Kay recognizing how much Joe is cast aside, she doubles down on needing both of their attention very, very frequently. Verdict: not the a-hole. Update. I'll try to respond to people as much as I can. I spoke with Joe individually today. I'm not surprised, but he said he confronted them because he wanted them to give me the money back. As usual, the kid is thinking of others. While I don't want to be accused of trying to turn him against his parents, I do want to follow his lead regarding him potentially staying with me. That said, I am going to make more of an effort to spend more time with him. As far as Kate is concerned, I know her health issues are very real, and I want more than anything for her to feel well. However, she has been behaving manipulatively towards her parents, grandparents, myself, and Joe for a while now. Again, I worry that how she is dealing with her ailments is unhealthy for her and the family. We all support her and do what we can to support her and help her be well. Update. Reddit surprised me with some very thoughtful perspectives recently, so I am trying my luck again here. TLDR had to look up what that meant. What are some ways I can share concerns with my adult niece and her parents while being stern but also supportive? I want to have a conversation with my sister, 40F, her husband, 44M, and their daughter, 21F. The issues are twofold. First, my niece is coping with some health challenges. I am deeply concerned that her use of social media to share health updates and the attention she receives is doing some harm and is changing the way she treats members of the family. Second, I have concerns regarding how my sister and her husband are parenting. To respect this sub, I won't share more about that. There is another post elsewhere if more context is desired. To respect this sub, please limit feedback to addressing the three adults. My sister and I are very close. She comes to me for advice when she and her spouse have their spats. She vents to me, and I love her dearly. That said, at times she uses my being unmarried and having no children against me, usually if I share advice she disagrees with or when it wasn't asked for. What are some ways I can have an honest discussion, not maliciously, while also emphasizing that I want to help and be supportive? Update concerning Joe and Kay. Thank you to those who have taken an interest in my family. Many of you have offered very insightful perspectives and have encouraged me to invest more in both Joe and Kay. Kay, I can clarify more of what I mean by being concerned about her behavior. The more and more she has used social media to cope with her ailments, the more down she is, and I worry it's becoming an obsession. Recently, we had dinner with some other extended family members, and she was talking to them about her health struggles. I noticed her showing them her social media and the comments she was receiving. She was disengaged from any discussion that was not about her and her health, which drove her back to social media. It worries me greatly. I asked her if there was anything she still liked to do for fun, and she gave me some ideas. Her grandmother and I would like to organize some things to get her out of the house to enjoy herself. Joe, I have asked him more about how he is treated at home, and I am concerned. Some of you were worried about his money being taken. He said he has not had any withdrawals from his account. However, he said he is asked regularly to go to the store to get certain medicines, food, or beverages to help Kay feel better and is not compensated. Additionally, they supposedly have a rule that once you are working, you pay for your own cell phone bill. I fully agree with this. However, Joe has been footing Kay's bill as well, as she is not working. I am trying to find another date for him and me to attend a football game together. I am not worried about the money being returned. Money is replaceable, time isn't. It's okay if anyone disagrees. Since this started, I've noticed he is not quite his usual self. He told me today that as his parents have spent more time with Kay over the last couple of years, it feels to him that they've become a family unit without him. He said last spring they attended family therapy while he was in school, so he could not participate, and it really bothered him. Both Joe and Kay seem defeated, and it pains me to see it. Update: this issue started when I, 45, found out that 2 football tickets I bought as a surprise for my nephew Joe, 16, were sold to pay for his sister Kay, 21, to see an allergist without him knowing. The tickets were given with the intention that one of his parents would take him, or if they couldn't, I would. I sat down last night with my sister and her husband, 40 and 44, and expressed multiple concerns, including Joe being made to pay Kay's portion of the phone bill because he works and she doesn't. Joe is being asked regularly to buy medicine, food, and comfort items for his sister with his hard-earned money. Everyone attended family therapy last year while Joe was in school, so he could not be part of it. They go to dinner and movies on nights when Joe is working. The reason I was given for the last issue is that they have to do things based on when Kay feels well, which I understand to a point. Regardless, I laid out these issues to help them see that Joe needs time and attention. They heard me and were a little defensive, but ultimately said they agreed to make up for the game the first pair of tickets were for and to make sure he gets one-on-one time. I asked if I could take him to a game on Thanksgiving Day. I can get tickets that are affordable through my employer, and while Joe and I would be gone for most of the day, we would hopefully be back for a dessert with the family. Initially, they said they would think about it. Today, they called me to once again say I am in awe. There is a previous post about the first conflict, this time for criticizing them for not spending time with Joe and then taking him away from a family holiday, which they say is hypocritical. Admittedly, out of anger, I said they owe it to both of us since they sold his tickets and that they'll have to figure out how to give him the attention he needs when it's not simply out of the convenience of it being a holiday. This seemed to give them pause. They are willing to think about it more, but they are standing firm that I am in the wrong. Any advice is also appreciated. I have not asked Joe his opinion, as I do not want to get his hopes up to then be let down again. Secret Voices, it's been almost a year with no further updates, so let's just hope Joe enjoyed his match and Kay recovered. Third story, the saga of a friend who euthanized herself and gave up the love of her life, along with an envelope and her final poem. I made a friend named Judy, not her real name, at a writing group. She is 95, I am 62. I visited her at her apartment a few times and helped her with her computer, and we really hit it off. She told me that some medication she was taking was making her feel sick. I asked her what it was for. She said she was just riddled with bone cancer. She published a book of poetry, and I went to her book launch party at the beginning of May. She had a friend there named Mike, not his real name, who is about my age. I thought he was a very attractive and intelligent man. I went up to Judy and asked her if he was single, and she said he was. Judy had told me about Mike quite a few times and what a wonderful person he was and what a great friend he was to her. He is also a writer. I tried to flirt with him and ask him out, but he was chatting with some other women about publishing. I felt embarrassed, so I left. I received an email yesterday from someone in the writing group that we were both in that Judy had made the decision to end her life, as she had had a stroke about 2 weeks ago and has not been well at all in the last month. Medical assistance in dying is completely legal in Canada. I was shocked to hear this, as she was seemingly so well and in great spirits the last time I saw her. I decided to call her to say goodbye. I phoned her yesterday, and we had a lovely chat. She told me that she was very happy with her decision to end her life this Saturday afternoon and that she had family coming to be with her. We had a good conversation, and I told her how much I appreciated her friendship. I told her that I thought that her husband, who had already passed away, would be there to welcome her to the other side. I was sad to think that I would never see my friend Judy again. I thought that chapter with me and Judy was now closed. Just about 5 minutes ago, I received a phone call from Judy. She wanted to give me Mike's phone number and asked me to call him. Apparently, he thought I was also a very nice person and wanted to know more about me. I explained that I had liked him very much, that I thought he was very attractive, and that I had embarrassed myself, so I left. Judy thought this was really funny and cute. Apparently, I made some kind of impression on him because he mentioned me to Judy several times. She gave me his phone number, asked me to call him, and thought that we would be good for each other. I said I would call him in a week or so. What a lovely gesture, playing matchmaker for 2 of her friends before she leaves this world. I have been quite lonely lately and really want to have a partner in my life. Notable comments: Spissa Bunny, meet girl, he asked about you. If things don't go well for some reason, I can't think of any. You can at least tell your friend you've been in contact. I'm sorry for your coming loss. Your friend will no doubt be watching over you. Whatever happens, good luck. MFX 3000, your story is saturated with good karma. I hope Mike works out. RMRS Judy is wingmanning her way out of this world, a true queen. We all need a Judy. Update 1, about 15 hours later, she called me again this morning, Friday, and asked me to come to her apartment to pick up an envelope to bring to him and ask him out for lunch ASAP. She said she wants to know what happens before she leaves tomorrow. Update 2, about 16 hours later, I have the envelope in hand and have arranged to meet him for coffee in 1 hour. Judy gave me an envelope and wants us to read it together. I am at the coffee shop waiting for him right now. She wants me to report back to her this afternoon. Update 3, about 22 hours later, I nervously waited for Mike to arrive. He was about 5 minutes late. When he arrived, I explained to him that this was not my idea and that Judy had asked me to meet him, had called me again, and had asked me to bring him the envelope and open it together. He said that sounded just like her. He predicted what was going to be in the envelope. He told me that he had known her for about 10 years, whereas I had only known her for about 8 months. We talked about our lives and what we had done, jobs, careers, marriage, divorce, kids, etc. He is a very intelligent, funny, and attractive man, and we seem to be compatible. He told me that he had said to Judy, when I met him at one time at the book party, that he had afterward commented to her that I was very forthright and he found that attractive. At that book launch party, I wanted to talk to him more, but another woman was capitalizing on his attention, talking about some kind of publishing. He apologized for talking to the other lady instead of me, and he said he couldn't stand her and tried to get away from her to chat with me some more, but when he turned around, I was gone. I told him that I was embarrassed, that I had put my foot in it by asking him out, and that I just left because I was so embarrassed. Anyhow, we had a great time at the restaurant, chatting about pretty much everything in life. He asked me if I wanted to go to dinner at a pretty fancy waterfront restaurant. He asked me if I had been there before, and I said I had not. I had to leave because I had to be back at work. I asked him if he wanted to meet another time to open the envelope, and he said, "No, I want to open it right now. I want to see what she is up to." So I sat beside him, and we opened the envelope together. It was just as he had predicted, a beautiful handwritten note and a whole bunch of cash, $450. The note expressed their love forever and ever and said, "Please go and have a nice supper." I said that was several nice suppers, and I told him that he was right about his prediction. He said he didn't want the money, and I said I didn't want it either, but if I took it back to her apartment, her son would get it tomorrow. So I said she wanted us to have it, so we should keep it. He asked me to keep it in my bag. So we left the coffee envelope meeting, and I gave him a warm hug, and he said he would call me, and we would go out for dinner. As we parted, we talked a little bit about what an amazing person Judy is and how we are both going to miss her. I called Judy and told her what transpired, and she said, "I am so pleased." I told her that Mike was going to call her later this afternoon as well. Tomorrow, her family is going to be there with her when she departs this world. Notable comments. Taylor, Judy was all forceful at the end with the money. That's a definite you will be going on multiple dates, no excuses. Patmore Patum, how wonderful you and Mike were able to find each other. Whether this leads to romance or a lifelong friendship, I hope your lives are richer for it. May you have a peaceful goodbye to this world, Judy. It sounds like she will be surrounded by love as she passes. Update 4, 2 days later, Judy transcended yesterday. Mike and I have talked on the phone a few times a day since we met on Friday and opened the envelope, and we have also been texting. It seems like we really have clicked. I am kind of astonished by this whole situation. Today, Sunday, we are going to an IMAX movie together this afternoon. I invited him to go with me to my regular weekly pub afternoon with my friends, and he said he would love to join us. We are both open to seeing where this goes. Update 5, 8 days later, I just thought you guys might want to know how things are going. Yesterday marked 1 full week since we opened the envelope. A lot has happened. We have been seeing each other every other day, and last night Mike came over to my house, and things were said and done that made it clear that we are now an item. We actually have a lot in common and really enjoy each other's company. I am rather mind-blown by how my life has turned into something new in the past week. I was pretty bored, lonely, and quite sad. Now I feel happy and invigorated. I'm ever so grateful that Judy came into my life and sent me Mike. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you.